Hey guys, how's it going? Manny Romero here, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Mr. Therapist Podcast. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about feelings, emotions. It's that universal, we all have these, like this is a human part of the human experience. But why are they so complicated sometimes? Why are they so difficult to manage? How can we stop these things from sabotaging our life? So we're going to get into that. I'm excited. Let's go. So let's get into feelings and emotions. The first thing you got to know about feelings and emotions is that understanding feelings, having good emotional awareness, emotional intelligence is not something that you're born with. This is something that's got to be practiced over time, practice with your caregivers. If you have caregivers that were really good at understanding their emotions, understanding how to control them and manage them, then you probably grew up learning how to do that as well with your feelings. However, if you have parents or caregivers who didn't really know how to do this well or didn't have conversations with you about your feelings, about your emotions, then you probably grew up not really understanding them that well, or right, trying to make sense of them yourself and not really being too sure about how good of a handle you have on your feelings and your emotions. And so that's just important to know. I think one of the things that I love to say is, you can't be mad at your parents or your guardians for not teaching you the things that maybe they weren't prepared to teach you. You got to take some responsibility. And now that you know this information, you can get into therapy. You can talk to people who maybe are a little more emotional aware and start learning how to put some of these skills into practice for yourself. The second thing that's important to know about feelings and emotions is that they're simply information. That's it. They're simply information. That it doesn't get any more complicated than that. They're information about what's happening to you in the outside world. We use the outside world to interpret some of these feelings and emotions. And let me give you an example of that. You let's say you're driving down the 5 freeway, you're blasting some Snoop Dogg, some Eminem, you're having a great time, and somebody hits you in the back. You have this immediate feeling of shock happening to you. You try to try to understand what's happening, and you see that somebody just gave you a little fender bender in the back. Nothing too serious, just a little fender bender. Well, you saw how that process worked, right? This immediate feeling of shock, you look outside of your environment and you receive the information that, you were shocked because someone hit you in the back. And so that's kind of how feelings work, where it's an interaction of a constant interaction of the outside world and the inner experience that we're trying to make sense of things. And this is a very hard thing to do all the time. We're not always accurate on understanding what is it about the outside world that's making us feel a certain way. Let me make this a little bit more complicated than that. Sometimes we're just feeling things and they could have nothing to do with the outside world. However, our minds automatically try to make sense of it by looking at the outside world. So if you're feeling a little jittery sometimes, maybe you're feeling a little down sometimes, and you're like, what's going on with me? What's happening? Why am I feeling this way? Sometimes, my old therapist just say, Manny, sometimes nobody predicted that it was going to be a rainy day, but sometimes it just rains. You know what I mean? And so sometimes feelings happen that way. And so in those moments, it can be very easy for us to look at something and say, oh, it's because of this that I'm feeling this way. And we can mistakenly, say that something caused us to feel anxious, sad, or whatever it is you're experiencing, and it can give us bad information. And so, one of the things that we have to watch out for if you want to become more emotionally aware and make sure that you're not sabotaging the things you're trying to do in life is to make sure that you understand that the way you respond to your feelings is so important. You have the ability to respond and control your response to your emotions. And so the better that you can practice that and do that, the better you'll be at controlling your emotions, handling them, not choosing the wrong reason why you're feeling X, Y, and Z, and understanding that sometimes I just feel sad, I just feel anxious, I just feel down. So really, really think about that. Now, how do you get to a place where you can put yourself on check, where you can manage your emotions, where you can react in a good way, where you're not sabotaging your relationships or your life? Let me quote the great Ice Cube. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And what I mean by that is you got to be able to apply just pause the moments. You got to press pause on your reaction when you're starting to feel heated, when you're starting to feel sad. You got to be able to press pause on that. Take a deep breath, check in with yourself, and understand what is really happening with me right now. What am I feeling? Is there a reason why I'm feeling this way? Is there a real reason? I'm not just going to, I'm not just going to take a blind guess at what it was, but is there a real reason why I'm feeling this way? Maybe I'm feeling angry because someone violated my rights or someone said something to me that pissed me off in the moment. Okay, so maybe I got a justified reason to feel this way. What's my next move? Like what's in the best interest for me in terms of taking action? What should I do next, right? Maybe there is no real reason. Maybe I'm just feeling sad today, or I'm just feeling angry today. I'm just in a mood today, right? And so I got to make sure that I'm not, taking that out on somebody. I got to make sure that I'm not sabotaging a relationship, sabotaging my goals, sabotaging the things that I want to do in life because I feel this way. Because another important fact about feelings is that they're not permanent. They're not permanent. Feelings come and they go. Give yourself some time when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling angry. If you're in the middle of a heated discussion with a partner, give yourself some time for that emotion to ride. Let that wave ride, let it go. And at some point, if you're actively thinking about something else, distracting yourself, giving yourself some time to breathe, check in with yourself. Remember Ice Cube's quote, if you do that, you're going to be able to manage how you react to the emotion a lot better, and you're going to be able to not let your feelings kind of influence the things that you do, the actions that you take, and the things that you do in your life. So just some important things about feelings and emotions. I hope it helped. If you want any specific tips about specific situations, let me know. I'm happy to go over any of those with you. Catch you guys on the next one.